Imagine surviving 100 days as a lion. You'll hunt down prey and fight apex predators. Can I be the king of the jungle? Stay tuned to find out. On day 1, I spawned in as a baby lion. However, I noticed my lion siblings were sound asleep. I also only have 5 hearts. I tried waking them up, but they just ignored me. So I decided to explore what was outside of my lion's den. Are those trees orange? All of a sudden, I heard a loud roar in the distance. Was that one of my parents? I quickly ran to investigate and noticed there was a bunch of fires around. I continued to follow the trail of fires. Eventually, I crested a hill to find my mom and dad confronted by a giant fiery lion. All of a sudden, the battle had begun.
Your pride's bloodline ends now, King. Not today, Arcanine.
The battle lasted a while until Arcanine pounced in the air and killed my father. Even with my father slain, my mother continued to fight off the beast.
Run, my child!
I listened to my mom and my survival instincts kicked in. I ran as far and fast as my little legs could take me. Finally, with the sun setting, I found a little hole in a tree. So I went inside and was accompanied by a little squirrel for the night. At the start of day 2, I made sure the coast was clear and got to work on gathering some wood and making my stone tools. But after crafting my stone tools, I ran into a giant goose. Well, at least it looked giant to me. The goose attacked me thinking I was coming for her eggs. I'm not after your eggs, stop! Even after pleading with the goose, it continued to attack. So I decided to run away, and with the goose right on my tail, I ran back into the treehouse. After the goose left, I knew I was gonna need to find some food. Luckily, I found some wild berries behind my treehouse, and then went back to my treehouse to expand it. I dug out a second story and added a chest, furnace, and crafting table. At the start of day 3, I left my base, knowing I'd need to get stronger. So I decided to face my fears and face the goose once again. After fighting it out with the goose for a while, I finally defeated it. However, this was no time to celebrate. I continued my training by hunting down a bunch of geese. After defeating a bunch, I took all of the raw goose meat and cooked it up, and then fell asleep for the night. Before we continue, I'm excited to announce I was given the Forrestbono dragon by today's sponsor, Dragon City. The Forrestbono dragon features the iconic mask, scarf, and is even accompanied by our trusty sidekick, Cloudberry. Also, Dragon City is a free-to-play mobile game available on all devices. You can collect and train thousands of unique dragons. To expand your dragon empire, you can breed 2 dragons to get new ones and feed them to evolve. Also, you can teach your dragons new attacks and take them to battle in order to make them even more powerful. There's even PvP modes where you can challenge other players or battle against your friends. There's several events every week to discover and a battle pass where you can claim daily prizes and dragons. To obtain the Forrestbono dragon, you'll either need to participate in the breeding event, Runner Island, or by looking under the offers tab. You can start playing by clicking my link in the description below. By clicking my link, you'll get a free reward that gives 15,000 food, 30,000 gold, and 10 gems. Make sure to take advantage of this offer while it lasts so you don't miss out. Now let's return back to the wilderness. On day 4, I woke up really hungry, so I devoured all the goose meat, and all of a sudden I began evolving. What's happening? I had now evolved into an adolescent lion. I now had 12 hearts and a pair of sharp claws. I now had a much larger appetite, so I headed out to find some food. While exploring, I realized I gained a new ability. I was able to leap forward and took reduced fall damage. After exploring for a bit, I found my first prey. It was a wild gazelle and the chase began. The gazelle was quick, but I began to gain on it. After a few more leaps and after a few swipes of my claw, I successfully hunted the gazelle. I now have myself some gazelle meat, and while looking for more, I found a little baby rhino. Hey, are you lost? Wait, that's the mother! The mother rhino charged at me, and I now had to run for my life. While running down a hill, I saw my opportunity to escape and jumped into a tree. The rhino tried ramming the tree to get me out, but eventually lost interest and walked away. After leaving the tree, I found an interesting looking den which would serve as a good place to make a base. So I gathered some materials and got to work on creating my den. I made a road throughout the den using the clay I had gotten, then made a little chest room, and finished off the den with a nice furnace area. But while adding the finishing touches to my base, I noticed a lion in the distance. Hey, who are you? When I tried approaching the lion started to run away. So I tried catching up, but before I could, a hyena stopped me in my tracks. After fighting and defeating the hyena, I lost track of the lion. So I decided to return back to base and decided to get some iron so I could make some iron armor and iron tools. However, after leaving my base, I noticed there were boars outside. The boars immediately attacked me, so I used my claws to take them all out. They did a lot of damage, but I eventually defeated them all. I ended up getting a bunch of raw boar meat, which I cooked up, and decided it'd be a good idea to try and explore for a little bit. However, while exploring, I found a fallen gazelle. This was probably a sign that that lion was around. I ended up finding another fallen gazelle gazelle and finally picked up on the scent of the lion. Hey, why are you spying on me?
Hey, why are you following me?
Are you making fun of me?
Are you making fun of me? You better get out of here. Arcanine isn't gonna be happy with the new lion intruding in his territory.
Arcanine? Hey, where are you going? Wait, come back. I started to chase down the lion again, and after nearly losing his trail, I heard the lion talking to someone over the cliff. Wait, isn't that the fire lion?
Did you locate the last of your bloodline yet, Simba?
Still no sign, my king.
Even after my hyenas gave you the location? You idiot! If you fail me once more, Simba, your mother will pay the consequences. Don't return until you have your brother's head.
All of a sudden, fire particles start to surround the fiery lion, and before I knew it, they both disappeared in a cloud of smoke. I wasn't sure whose brother he was talking about, but I knew I needed to find them again so I could get some answers. I then started to return back to base. However, on my way back, I heard some yelling. I saw a couple hyenas and a giraffe in a tree.
Somebody help, I don't want to be dinner.
I decided to fight the hyenas and save the giraffe. After a few swipes of my claw, I defeated both hyenas, and the giraffe came down from the tree.
Wasn't expecting a lion. Thanks, Bono. Wait, you're not gonna eat me, are you?
What? Of course I'm not.
Cool, dude. So maybe you can help us with a bear? Name's Gerald, by the way.
I'm not doing anything else, so I guess I can. You can call me Forrest. I then started following Gerald the giraffe to his herd, and after a few days of traveling with him, we had finally arrived at the giraffe's herd. I immediately noticed there was one giraffe that stood out. Excuse me, giraffe. My friend here says you guys need help with a bear or something?
You brought a lion to help? That bear stands no chance. It's been bothering us for weeks.
I'll be able to deal with it, don't worry. Gerald the giraffe then told me that he'd lead the way, so I began following Gerald the giraffe to find the bear. It wasn't long until we found a cave, so I jumped inside, and after a few swipes of my claw, I defeated the bear. That was easier than expected. I guess we should head back. Gerald and I then started to head back to the herd. However, on the way back, we ran into another cave. What's in there, Gerald?
Oh, jeez. I think that's the mother. Cheese it.
The mother? What are you talking about? Wait, that bear is a lot bigger. Run away. My instincts kicked in and I began running from the mother bear. It was huge and I ran up a mountain to try and get away. I was then cornered, tried jumping across the canyon and fell down. Wait, what's that noise? Oh my gosh, it's a stampede of rhinos. I ran as fast as I could from the rhinos as they were right on my tail.
Over here, Forrest. Climb these vines. Fast.
I then saw Gerald and knew that was my chance to escape. I climbed up the vines and barely escaped with Gerald. Whew, that was a close one. After narrowly escaping the bear and the rhinos, Gerald and I left the area to talk over a strategy. I convinced Gerald that I could definitely defeat the mother bear, but just needed some time to get a little bit stronger. Gerald had the perfect idea of where to take me to get stronger. Eventually, we arrived at Netherlight Caves. Gerald said he'd have to stay out here, but wished me luck, so I began to venture into the Nether Caves. I noticed there was a ton of gold in here, so I mined a bunch of the gold, and even found some nether wart blocks. I then ventured deeper into the caves, and fought off some magma cubes that were down here. I continued through the caves and found some fiery cows and pigs. So I defeated those to get some food and found some massive skeletons down here as well. I then encountered a group of zoglins, which I was forced to fight and just barely defeated them all. I even managed to find some blazes down here, so I defeated the blazes for some blaze rods and found a strange looking nether creature down here. Hey, are you friendly? Oh, okay, I guess he's not friendly. After taking a ton of damage from the nether ravager, it chased me all the way out of the cave, so Gerald and I ran for the hills. After a couple days, Gerald and I finally returned back to my den. Gerald then told me about a crafting recipe where I could craft golden beef. They were just like golden apples, so I crafted myself 4 golden beef to use against the mother bear. After that, I got to work on expanding my base and making myself a brewing room. I also added a nether wart farm and a bit more storage. Now that that was complete, I was ready to brew some potions. I started out by brewing speed potions and strength potions. Now that I had potions and golden beef, I was ready to follow Gerald back to the mother's den. On day 32, we arrived back at the mother's den, so I drank my potions and began fighting the mother bear. The mother bear and I exchanged hits, so I backed up and ate some golden beef and went back in to do more damage. After blocking her last hit, I landed the final blow and defeated the mother bear. With the mother bear defeated, we returned back to the giraffe herd to return the good news, but only returned to a scary sight.
Feast my minions and find those traitors.
Arcanine was then surrounded in fiery particles, disappeared into a cloud of smoke, and summoned in hyenas.
Oh no, my herd.
Gerald, wait! I stopped Gerald from going into the hyenas and defeated them all one by one. Gerald, are you...
I don't want to talk about it, man. We need to find that lion and get rid of him for the herd.
I then promised Gerald that we would track down the fire lion and avenge his family. After a few days of traveling with Gerald, we finally returned back to base. Once we had returned, I realized that the ceilings weren't tall enough for Gerald. So for the rest of the day, I expanded my base so that Gerald could have an easier time navigating it. However, while digging it out, I heard Gerald start to yell.
Hey, Forrest, come out here before this lion eats me, bro.
Hey, leave my giraffe alone.
Wait, I didn't come here to eat your giraffe. I came to ask for your help. Word is you defeated the giant bear. Could you help us defeat Arcanine?
Arcanine? That's the fire lion that killed my family and Gerald's herd. Are you able to lead us there? Also, what's your name?
That's great! The name's Simba. To get to Arcanine, you'll need to deal with his army of hyenas guarding him first. That reminds me, I best get out of here before they find out I'm talking to you. See ya!
After a short conversation, Simba ran away, but Gerald and I knew this would be one step closer to finding Arcanine. I then decided that it would be a good idea to go mining for some diamonds, as I was gonna need better armor in order to take on a giant fiery lion. After mining a bunch of diamonds, I returned back to my den, crafted some diamond armor, and crafted some diamond claws. At the start of day 41, I started to feel a little bit woozy. What's happening? I then began evolving and evolved into an adult lion. Whoa, I've got a mane now. I also noticed I could leap twice as far and gained a new ability of roaring to push back my enemies. Now that I was much stronger, Gerald and I decided to go out exploring to see if we could find some hyenas. It wasn't long until we heard someone yelling for help.
Help!
What was that? Let's go investigate, Gerald.
Scorpions! Ah!
Little did I know the sound of the yelling was a baby elephant cornered by scorpions. I quickly sprang into action to save the baby elephant. After taking out both scorpions, I went to see if the elephant was okay.
That was really scary. Thanks for saving me. You're not gonna eat me though, are you?
No, of course not. Where's your family, little guy?
Well, I'm not sure. We got separated when the hyenas attacked my herd.
Hyenas? We've been looking for them to avenge Gerald and I's family. Do you have any idea where we can find them?
In fact, I do. A whole mess of them have settled in the bone wastes, picking at their bones. I've been dodging them for quite a while now.
Well, maybe I can help. Let's work together. My name is Forrest. What's yours?
Nice to meet you, Forrest. The name's Dumbo.
All right, Dumbo, you lead the way. I have an idea. So I let Dumbo take the lead and take us to the hyenas. And after a couple of days, we arrived at the bone wastes. This looks a little bit dangerous. I then convinced Dumbo and Gerald to stay outside while I snuck into the hyena's lair. Once nighttime had struck, I had snuck into the hyena's base. However, it wasn't long until I was spotted. Oh no, not good. I need to get out of here. I then booked it out of the bone waste back to Dumbo and Gerald. I told them there was way too many hyenas there and we'd need more allies in order to take them on. So I began exploring to try and find some allies. After some exploring, we had finally reached the edge of a jungle.
Whoa, Forrest, this jungle is Kong's territory. You're not trying to get beat up by a bunch of gorillas, are you?
Oh, great idea. Maybe we can get his help too. Thanks, Dumbo. I then went into the jungle to try and find Kong.
Wait, that's not what I meant.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I'm gonna wait out here, though.
Dumbo then ran in after me, and we continued through the jungle to try and find Kong. However, it wasn't long till I was attacked by some gorillas. They were extremely territorial, so I was forced to fight. So after defeating them both, I continued through the bamboo forest. Hey, little baboon. Ouch, what the heck? It seemed like all the monkeys and gorillas are pretty territorial, so after defeating a few more gorillas, I ended up finding a giant temple. So Dumbo and I went up the stairs, and at the very top was King Kong.
Hey, little cat. What do you want?
Hi there, Mr. Kong. I wanted to ask if you could help us fight some hyenas. They've been targeting and killing herds of animals across the continent.
Hyenas? I've got my hands full dealing with jaguars. But, little cat, if you deal with them for us, I can help.
Consider it done, Your Majesty. So with a new quest, I went with Dumbo to try and find the Jaguar King. After exploring for a little bit, Dumbo started getting attacked by a jaguar. Hey, get away from him. I defeated the jaguar pretty easily, but made sure Dumbo was okay, and had to fight my way through a bunch of territorial jaguars. After fighting through some more jaguars, I found a hidden temple in the jungle. This must be where the Jaguar King is. We then continued to cross the lily pads, and the Jaguar King was there at the end. Yes, but no. I was hoping to get their help to stop a bunch of hyenas, but they're helping Arcanine and... Now I either had to choose a side or figure out a way to resolve the problem between the jaguars and the gorillas. So I opted to try and resolve the problem first by returning back to Kong to reason with him. Kong, the jaguars say they can't just go hungry and...
I don't care how hungry they are. Our sources of food remains on their land. That gives them no right to make us food.
Calm down, please. I think I can figure something out to make you both happy.
You better, or you'd best not come back.
Now with a clear goal in mind, Dumbo and I plan to make a permanent food source for the jaguars jaguars and gorillas. First, I decided to get a bunch of melons for a permanent food source for the gorillas. Got to work on making a giant melon farm. I ended up planting multiple rows of melons and made sure to fence it off so nothing could get inside. After finishing the build, I went back up to inform Kong what I had done. Hey Kong, I grew you guys some melons down there. Plenty of food now. Now things are cool, right?
It seems like you did. Thank you, little cat. But things aren't cool yet. The jaguars are still hungry and threatening my people.
I guess I should do something about that too. I'll be back in a few days. So with the gorillas happy with their food source, I began to head over to the Jaguar King to create a food source for the jaguars. I knew jaguars couldn't eat melons, so after realizing the Jaguar King's temple was next to a river, I decided to connect the inner pond on both sides to the river. That did involve tearing down some of the structures inside, but after a while I successfully made a fish trap on both sides. Over time, fish would swim into the fish trap and get caught in it, providing plenty of food for the jaguars. So I went up to talk to the Jaguar King to tell him what we had created. I think I solved your problem. I gave the apes plenty of food and I just got done building a fish trap for your colony. Thank you, Your Highness. So with the gorillas and jaguars now appeased, I made sure to go over to Kong one last time to let him know that he should have peace with the jaguars now. I found another food source for the jaguars. They should leave you alone now. Can you help us with the hyenas?
That's excellent news. You can count on my gorillas for help if you're ever in trouble.
Thank you, Mr. Kong. See you around. So after solving the conflict with the jaguars and gorillas, I seem to have gained some pretty useful allies in case I was in trouble later on. So Dumbo and I went back to Gerald, filled him in about the powerful allies that would help us with the hyenas, and with the sun setting, we began traveling back into the savannah, and after some travel, we finally made it back to the Bone Wastes. I then told Dumbo and Gerald to wait here while I waited for my allies. While the sun was coming up, I noticed a gorilla and jaguar in the distance. Hey, they actually showed up. I then told the jaguar and gorilla to accompany me into the Bone Wastes, and with my allies by my side, I headed into the Bone Wastes until eventually we confronted the hyenas. We began fighting through the dozens of hyenas until eventually confronting the alpha hyena. I started doing as much damage as I could to the alpha hyena, but didn't have much food left. The alpha hyena was really quick at closing the distance, so I needed to be careful. I drank some more potions so I could have speed and strength, and continued fighting the alpha hyena while my allies dealt with the smaller ones. With only one apple left and one heart, I barely defeated the alpha hyena. Now with the alpha hyena gone, I headed out to exit the Bone Waste with my allies. Eventually, we reached Dumbo and Gerald, and I made sure to thank the gorillas and jaguars for their help. The gorilla and jaguar then left to go back to the jungle.
Thank you for your help, Forrest. Now I'm free to walk around alone, I guess.
I helped too. And hey, you're not alone. We're here, aren't we?
Yes, but how can I find my family?
I have an idea of where an elephant herd might go. With Dumbo concerned about finding his family, I had an idea of how I could find them. So I started to take Dumbo and Gerald over to the nearest lake. And after a bit of travel, I finally found an elephant herd. I had a feeling they would be here.
Mom, Dad, thank you, Forrest. I can't believe you found them.
No problem. I'm glad you've been reunited. Have a good life, Dumbo.
Thanks, and good luck to you both.
So with Dumbo reunited with his family, Gerald and I returned back to base. Now that I had a bit of downtime, I went and crafted an enchantment table, repaired all of my diamond armor, and enchanted it all. I also made sure to cook up some more steak, but I heard two voices talking and realized Simba had returned. Simba, where have you been all this time?
Sorry, I saw you and those other animals beat up the hyena boss.
Yeah, you know, wasn't that easy.
I thought you should know the hyenas are going to regroup. They're headed for Arcanine's den. If they find out it was you that killed their boss, they'll kill our mom.
Scorpions? Wait, our mom?
Wait, you don't recognize me? It's me, your brother.
Wait, I thought I was the only one left alive.
Yeah, I barely escaped, but our other siblings weren't so lucky.
You could have told me that sooner. After I defeat these scorpions, I'll find Arcanine and save our mom.
Anyways, you'll have about 10 days until the scorpions arrive. Okay, I gotta go before I get caught. See ya.
Simba then left pretty hastily, but I definitely had some preparing to do. With the scorpions on their way here, I told Gerald to craft some bookshelves, crafted and enchanted a diamond pickaxe, and decided to head out to go mining. After a while, I found a cave, mined myself a bunch of gold, redstone for levels, and a bunch more diamonds. While in the cave, I also made sure to get myself a ton of stone with my diamond pickaxe, as I was gonna need it to reinforce the layers in my base. I then returned back to my base with all those materials, and Gerald had also returned with the bookshelves. I then cooked up all the gold that I had gotten and a bunch of cobblestone into stone. After the stone was finished smelting, I started getting to work on making a giant wall outside of my base. I made sure to completely surround it and added a bit of scaffolding on top of the wall so I could walk along them. After putting fencing on the top of all the walls, I then surrounded the outer layer of the wall with a bunch of cactuses to keep the scorpions out. After placing down all the cactuses, the build was complete, and the lion den was looking a lot more fortified. With only a few days left to prepare, I got to work on brewing some more strength potions, speed potions, and fire resistance potions. Last but not least, I crafted some golden beef, and the day had finally arrived to defend the base with Gerald. It wasn't long till I felt an ominous presence and the sky became cloudy. All of a sudden, scorpions began rushing the walls from over the hills. However, the first layer of cactus defense held back the initial zerg of scorpions. I also used my lion's roar from on top of the walls to hold them back, but then the Scorpion King had entered the playing field. I knew it was time to spring into action, so I drank my potions and leapt down. I started swiping my claws at all the scorpions, trying to take out the small ones first. After taking out all the small ones, I started to target the Scorpion King, but he was poisoning me a lot and doing a lot of damage, so I was forced to leap away and eat some golden beef. I then re-entered the battle and was able to finish the Scorpion King off. I then noticed it dropped a strange orb on the ground. Whoa, what is that? Wait, am I evolving? I was encompassed in a ton of particles and all of a sudden evolved into an alpha lion. Whoa, I'm huge. And I have 30 hearts now. I also had a new pair of claws, had an upgraded roar, and could leap even further. I even had a new ability where I could stomp the ground and gain speed and strength. With my newfound powers, I leapt into my base, enchanted my 2 claws with sharpness 2, and crafted some more golden beef. I also made sure to restock my potions. Gerald seemed pretty scared of me, so I discussed some plans with him and reassured him that I wouldn't eat him. Gerald and I then went out to go exploring to hatch our plan. After some traveling, we arrived at the bone wastes. I told Gerald we'd try and find some hyenas to interrogate. We then entered the bone wastes and found a group of hyenas. The initial group began to attack me. I easily defeated them all and saw one lone hyena in the back. I noticed it looked really different, so I began to chase it down until I inevitably caught up to him and cornered him. Listen up, little guy. I already defeated the alpha hyena, so unless you want me to tear you to shreds, tell me where Arcanine is.
Calm down, guy. I was just playing around. Our new boss is, he's on a boat in the ocean. You should go beat him up. Wait, what's that over there?
You really think I believe that? You think I'm joking around or something? Wait, where are you going? The hyena started running a lot faster and tried to get away. By his nervous demeanor, I knew he knew something about Arcanine. So I hid so he thought I'd stop following him, which seemed to have worked. Gerald and I then continued tailing the hyena without him knowing, and I finally recognized where we were. Is he leading me to my original den? After tailing him for a while longer, he had brought me to Arcanine's base of operations, which seemed to be my old den. There's tons of hyenas down there. There was no way Gerald and I could go at that head on, so I had a plan. First, Gerald and I made sure to avoid the hyenas by staying on top of the mountain, and after avoiding them, I started to bring Gerald over to a familiar place. Eventually, we reached the canyon where I had escaped the stampede of rhinos. Now I'm gonna have to figure out how to lead these things to the hyenas. Gerald and I then went around to try and find where the rhinos were coming from, and after finding the source of the rhinos, I roared to get their attention, and they immediately switched their focus onto me. We gotta run, Gerald! There's a stampede of rhinos chasing us now! Now that I had the stampede of rhinos on my tail, I started to run back all the way to Arcanine's den. After a while of getting chased, we finally made it back. Gerald quickly ran on top of the hill and I jumped into a tree. All right, rhinos, do your worst. The rhinos then trampled all of the hyenas and hyenas began to run away. Yes, I knew it would work. It wasn't long until almost all the hyenas were wiped out by the rhinos. There were only a few stragglers left, so I jumped down from the tree and took them all out. I told Gerald he should probably stay out here while I looked for Arcanine inside the den. I went to go enter the den and Arcanine came out from around the corner. I went to confront Arcanine, but he started to run away. Hey, where do you think you're going? He was really fast, but I was able to keep up with my leaps. I realized he was trying to run up some sort of mountain. Wait, is this a volcano? While chasing down Arcanine, I almost caught him at the top. Nowhere to go now, huh, Arcanine? Wait, did he just go in the lava? I knew I needed to follow Arcanine, so I drank a fire resistance potion and leapt into the air. I fell through the lava into a pit. Oh my gosh, this volcano's hollow. I quickly leapt to the side and broke my fall and saw my mom behind Arcanine.
You really think you stand a chance? You'll see the same fate your father did. Now die, furball.
The battle had begun and I knew I needed to win this to free my mother. I took some damage, so I leapt away to drink my potions and started swiping at Arcanine. Oh my gosh, it's a lot of damage. After taking a huge huge hit, I backed up to eat some golden beef and went back in to do more damage on Arcanine. Even though his attacks were slow, he hit really hard, so I had to be careful. I continued damaging Arcanine as much as I could, ate some more golden beef, and went back in to swipe him with my claws even more. I have him on half HP. I gave myself strength and speed and went back in to try and finish off Arcanine. I roared to knock him back and was doing significant damage. I then knocked him really far into the air, but he was still alive. One more hit should do it. I then landed the final hit and defeated Arcanine. Yes, I did it! Arcanine then disappeared, and so with Arcanine gone, I went over to my mother's prison cell and freed her, and we were finally reunited. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and have a great day. Before the video ends, a quick reminder to take full advantage of the Dragon City gift you can receive by using my sponsored link in the description below. Trust me, you won't be disappointed.